How's it going? Back in the boho room again today. It's been a couple days since I've done a video. I have a lot of topics I still want to cover, but to be honest, this cold weather snap that we've had recently has been interesting for me. In the past, my story was that as it would start to approach Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the weather would get colder, I would go into a little funk. Seasonal affective disorder, sad. And it got so bad last year that I finally was like, I'm going to try some medication. The problem was, I started using it in about March, and by then it was already starting to warm up. So I don't know really if this medication was helpful or if it was just because of spring, which is actually my favorite season. Me and Anali both. We love some spring, don't we, boy? Yeah. We really like spring. Oh, Anali gets so excited about that. And now summer is just ending, which is my second favorite month. All right, buddy. All right. Shh. Okay. All right. And we're going back into... He gets all like weird when I talk into space. When there's no one here, he thinks he must be talking to me. He must want to get all crazy. Oh, I know. So, as summer ends... Wow, dude. You're... Shh. Okay. He's kind of a big baby. Whenever I grab him a little, he screams like a little baby. Are you a little baby? Oh boy. Anyway, what I was trying to say, I know, is that when summer ends and Thanksgiving time arrives and it starts to get cold, my mood really changes. And that has been very consistent. This year, I wanted to see how it went. I feel like I'm in a much better, more positive headspace. And I think over the last 2 days when it's been really cold here, I started to feel some of that negativity creeping back in. But a couple things that helped. I just was like, well, I'm going to dress warmer and I'm going to get outside and I'm going to go enjoy being in the cold. So I took some walks in the cold and it really wasn't that bad. And actually my body seemed like it started to get more used to it. And I started thinking, well, I need to do this more often. I think in the past I would get cabin fever because I would just be closing myself up. Yeah, I just spilled my coffee on myself. And that's okay too. Today we're actually going to talk about... So do I finish what I was just saying or do I get into the topic? Because we're already 3 minutes in. So the two things I said. One being just getting out and kind of embracing it more and just accepting it. The second thing is Elise sent me a video or an article about in Norway, I guess it was, where it's bitter cold for long winters. They assumed that their depression rates would be higher, but they actually were lower. And so then they went and started researching as to why that was. And they found some interesting information in that Norwegians up there where they were studying seemed to actually really enjoy winter. They find it a time to get out and go skiing, which is their favorite sport. I'm not much of a skier. I don't really like it. That's been my story so far. And there's not much skiing around here in Chattanooga. But I think the idea is find something outside that you really enjoy. This year I'm going to be looking for that. I'm not sure what it is yet. Hopefully I'll find something that I enjoy in the winter. But another thing is, it's also a good time of year for, enjoying a nice hot cup of coffee. The cold weather makes your brain not work, apparently. Nice hot cups of coffee, sitting by firesides, reading books, slowing down and journaling, being more thoughtful and aware, going to coffee shops, one of my favorite things. Finding things to do that are a little more introspective, I guess. Getting together with people. All summer you've been too busy to get together with your friends because you've been out there doing all the summer stuff. Now it's time to slow down. Start having some dinners together. So I suppose for me, what I'm realizing right now is that this is a time where there's transition from summer to winter, and here in Chattanooga it's been kind of abrupt. So now it's time to just start kind of making the adjustment in my own mind and heart and realizing it's time to start slowing down, start shedding off that summer stuff. It's not time for swimming holes anymore. It's not time for those great hikes, basking in the sun, backpacking and all that stuff. It's time to bundle up, slow down, and really find things to embrace through the winter time. All right. Yeah. And hopefully we won't need to take any medications this year, right? Yeah, that's the plan. But I'm also open. If it doesn't go as expected, I might take some medication. I feel like I'm still working on finding my perfect balance. Until I'm there, I'm not totally opposed to taking some medication. I guess that's where I'm at with that subject. But I'd like to try it without it. See how it goes. See if I can institute some things that will help. Well, I'm halfway through and I haven't even got to the topic for today. And the topic for today, I guess, will be short. And it's going to be talking about, what was it? I wanted to talk about we're going to talk about, so I've been kind of referencing this book, The Untethered Soul, and one little piece that I haven't really talked about yet is what I want to talk about today. If I can remember what it is. You're distracting me. Go play, buddy. I can't drink coffee, play with dog, and talk on video all at the same time. Although, I'm trying. The Untethered Soul. So, we all have this energy, and it's inside of us, and it has to do with just kind of this inborn, natural, positive energy that gives us strength and energy. What can happen is you can close off that energy with negative thoughts and ideas. So the goal then is to keep that energy open. And that energy is something that's kind of independent within us. So you've probably felt at times in your life where you were really super hungry, you didn't have the fuel you needed to have energy, but yet you had tons of energy because you were doing something that really made you happy and that made you feel energetic. So independent of food, you had this energy within you that was at your disposal. That's what I'm talking about, that energy. There are other times when you have all kinds of, you've eaten, you should have a ton of energy, but you're doing something that just kind of makes you less, you don't like it. You don't like what you're doing, and your mind just starts like shutting you down, closing you off. And that energy that you should have because you have eaten and you have the fuel you need suddenly is just not there because you've closed down your energy. So your energy is independent of really what's going on inside of you for the most part. It's something that you can open or close. And what I'm trying to learn is to keep that energy source open within me. And that really comes with one of the I guess worksheets I got from my counselor that I go to is about radical acceptance. And it's just realizing that, what is, whatever, it is what it is. Whatever comes at you, you really have very little control over that stuff. It just is what it is. Particularly on the roadway where I can get very frustrated. I've got a little card there that now offers me some proper insight, and basically it is what it is. Whatever's happening on the roadway, you're not really going to change it. People are going to cut you off. People are going to act like jerks. People are going to drive around real arrogant like. People are going to be too slow. People aren't going to drive how you want them to. It just is what it is. Some of them might be intentionally driving that way, and that's the most frustrating for me. But I'm learning that, you know what? That's them. That's not me. If they want to act like jerks, let them. Who cares? What does that mean to me? I don't have to act like a jerk. I don't even have to let it bother me. And so the more I can really embrace this idea that it is what it is and just radically accept the things that are going on around me, the more I keep that energy open instead of just closing it down. And this has to do with presence as well. When you're in the present moment, it just is what it is. And we can close down that moment by digging something out of the past. If I'm on the road and somebody cuts me off, I could have been just like cruising along, singing a song, and suddenly some jerk cuts me off on purpose and like he could get me upset. Well, I could continue chewing on that thought for the next 5-10 minutes, or I could even act on that thought by doing something crazy and, introducing road rage and going up and letting him know how I feel about it, etc. So what I've done then is I have changed my presence because all of my basically my future will be determined on the decision that I make at that current moment. So if I decide I'm just going to let it go, it just is what it is, radical acceptance. Who cares? It's not me, it's him. This is my little bubble. And I just let it go. Well, my next moment is probably going to be one of peace and acceptance as well. And I'm just going to continue on this journey of peace and acceptance and, allowing things to be what they are and letting go whatever happens. And I can live a pretty peaceful day that way. Versus where if I choose to get all upset about that, I'm really hanging on to something that happened in the past because it's not even happening in the moment. The guy has cut me off and he's gone. So now I'm living in actually the past. So I'm depressed, like Lao Tzu said. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. So I'm all upset, and my future moments are all like angry, and then, that kind of closed down energy starts to affect the moments that I'm having, my future moments. And so then those future moments start to just escalate, and all of this negative energy is just closing down all of that positivity, closing down the channel of, what does he call it, sitting in the seat of consciousness. We close down that seat of consciousness, and now we're just like in this snowball of negativity, and the next thing is worse and the next thing, and our day is just like crappy because what? Some dude cut us off in traffic, and that ended up just kind of shaping these moments after that, where we could have just, instead of like closing down our energy or that seat of consciousness, We could have just said, you know what? I am loving awareness. And then we could have let it go. And the next moment, we could have said, I am loving awareness. It's so great. And then the next moment, we could have said, I am loving awareness. And we could have said, whoa, I can't believe that I personally am loving awareness. I mean, who would have thought that I could be that? And then the next moment, we could say, I am loving awareness. Wow, I really am. It's actually really happening. It is what it is. And that's a good, it is what it is. That's a good radical acceptance. That's positivity. And the next moment we could say, I am loving awareness. Awareness is so... I'm trying to think of a word that goes with loving. Awareness is something so easily loved because it's so intensely mysterious outside of us. It's almost like trying to explain Great Spirit. Great Spirit. Oh, we should do a video on Great Spirit and breath. That would be interesting. I've had some thoughts about that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll see. Anyway, today, just some thoughts about sitting in the seat of consciousness, not shutting that place down, letting your moments be what it is. And truthfully, I am totally preaching myself right now. I've been struggling with some stuff that I've been holding on to, and I'm realizing, or I have realized, I just need to let it go. So that's why I'm talking to you about it today, I guess, because I'm really talking to myself. The camera is flipped, and I'm looking at myself, talking to me. You might, through the powers of electronics and all of these things, be watching it in reverse. I'm getting really, what's the word? Esoteric? I don't know. No, I don't do drugs, except for caffeine in the morning. But I don't think that has the ability to make you strange. That just comes naturally to me. You're welcome. See you guys.